Reform MP Richard Tice quizzed Labour Home Secretary Yvette Cooper on the two-tier justice that he believes exists in the UK. As always, when it comes to Labour MPs, they can't answer the question, and as always in denial. We will watch, react and go over all of the latest British political news from the last 24 hours, but first hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for all things Westminster. So as stated in the intro, Reform MP Richard Tice quizzed Labour Home Secretary Yvette Cooper on the two-tier justice that he believes exists in the UK. As always, when it comes to Labour MPs, they can't answer the question and as always in denial. Have a watch.
Mr. Speaker, does the Secretary of State for the Home Department share my deep concerns about two-tier justice, given that some people who say some bad, stupid things on social media can be arrested, charged and jailed within a matter of weeks, but that actually some people who violently assault police officers have not even been charged many months later?
Well, the honourable member will know that in this country we have operational independence for the police, but also independence for the CPS and independence for the courts. I strongly support police officers and think that they have faced cases where they have faced the most disgraceful violence and attacks, and it's really important that we support our police in the face of those attacks and make sure that they have the whole.
What are your thoughts on what Richard Tice has said? Let me know in the comments. In other news, Labour is giving Nigel Farage a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with its insane smoking ban plan, a former Reform UK insider has told the media. The Populist Party, which is already benefiting from a post-election bounce in the opinion polls, is looking to attract support from traditional Labour voters in key target seats across Brexit-backing England and Wales. Starmer's plan to introduce a generational smoking ban and end punters enjoying a cigarette outside pubs appears to have already provided Reform UK with a major opportunity ahead of the 2025 local elections. A recent Yonder opinion poll found that 48% believe pubgoers should be able to continue smoking outside boozers, with 43% supporting Labour's ban and 9% remaining unsure. Farage, who is often snapped enjoying a fag down the pub with a pint in hand, is leading the charge against Labour's plans. The Reform UK leader labelled smokers the heroes of the nation and vowed to never go to the pub again if outdoor smoking is banned. He is also echoing concerns about the impact of banning smoking outside pubs on the hospitality sector, with the latest crackdown estimated to force almost 6,000 pubs to close. As for how Reform UK could capitalise on the unpopular ban, a former insider from the Populist Party told the media, Labour are so out of touch with voters across the red wall that Farage and Reform have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to smash the two-party system. Penalising hard-working Brits for enjoying a fag, or a pint, or fast food is the kind of snobbish paternalism that drives voters insane. If they had their act together, Reform would be easily able to make hay out of the growing frustration out there, not just on the ridiculous smoking ban, but on net zero, immigration and woke nonsense. However, whether the new chairman has the wherewithal to actually seize this opportunity remains to be seen. A former Number 10 source also suggested the Tories would struggle to benefit from disaffection with Labour's nanny state policies. Reform should be licking their lips ahead of the local elections when they see Labour veering off-road and away from people's priorities with nanny state policies like this, they said. Whoever leads the Conservative Party will be dead against such measures. But in the meantime, this is only going to send common-sense voters over to Reform. Almost 13% of British people aged 18 years and over smoke cigarettes, data compiled by the Office for National Statistics has revealed. Despite the proportion of Britons smoking having decreased in recent years, research from 2019 showed red wall constituencies were home to a greater number of smokers than traditional Tory seats. The research named Hull, Barnsley and Mansfield as the areas of Britain with the highest smoking levels. Ashford, Barking, Burnley, Great Grimsby, Folkestone and Hythe, Sittingbourne and Sheppey and Slough also made up the top 10. Reform UK finished second to Labour in Barking, Barnsley North, Barnsley South, Great Grimsby and Cleethorpes, Hull East and Hull West. The Tories also lost Ashford, Folkestone and Hythe, Mansfield and Sittingbourne and Sheppey on July 4th. Speculation about Reform UK benefiting from Labour's smoking crackdown comes just days after Health Secretary Wes Streeting pledged to introduce a more ambitious bill than the previous Conservative government. He said, "When the smoking bill is introduced, it will be more ambitious than the bill introduced by the previous government, and crucially, it will mean that children growing up in our country today will be the first ever smoke-free generation." Sir Keir Starmer also claimed nanny state measures were sometimes necessary to ensure the British public remained healthy. However, reiterating Reform UK's opposition to the smoking ban, a spokesman for the Populist Party said, "Reform will always support the rights of the individual and champion personal freedom. The current proposals by this Labour government would be disastrous for publicans across the country. Reform UK will always support our pubs and ensure they have the ability to survive." Lastly, Tory leadership hopeful Kemi Badenoch has accused Labour of wanting to teach Britain's children to be ashamed of the country's history. Back in 2022, the then Equalities Minister tabled a move towards a new history curriculum covering both sides of the UK's colonial past. She had assembled an expert panel to help carry out her changes, but after the Conservatives were ousted in July, Badenoch's review has been canned in favour of Labour's own. But the current government's controversial national curriculum review, which could herald the onset of further negative history teaching, now faces criticism for undermining the fabric of British society. Speaking to the Daily Mail, Badenoch said, "We need to make sure people have a good understanding of history, but not try to rewrite history to the point where everyone is ashamed of their past. Young people now don't want to join the army because they're embarrassed about their country, and they don't think it's worth fighting for. There is no future if the people who are here will not fight for this country." Defending her now shelved plans for her model curriculum, the Shadow Housing Secretary said it would even help to integrate migrants in the UK. She said immigrants sometimes acted like guests in Britain without assimilating with its history, customs and culture, and claimed the UK's status as a multiracial country was now a fact that is not going to change. The North West Essex MP once again talked up her teaching pledges, claiming they could help bring unity to different groups in Britain. "How do we make sure that we can teach history so that everybody has got a stake in it, and it's not pitting one group against the other?" she asked. Badenoch also claimed that Labour had axed her review because the party wants the bad history, that you should be ashamed of your past. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.